Love you.
Did I tell you about when we were playing baseball in the backyard? I've told this story so many times because it was so funny. But like River's really into baseball right now, so I'll pitch to him like every day. He wants me to pitch to him, and he hits his little wiffle ball. And he's playing, and we're in the backyard, and I throw him a pitch, and he like swings and misses, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" And I go, River, no. Like, you can't say that, man. And he goes, O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And, like, then it's mine just like, O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Like both of my kids, when there's a joke in our family, because Evan, when we were a kid, she thought that was actually a song, like on the radio. She like liked it. She was like, oh. And she always wondered why it was so short. And so then River got into it. And then he also sings the Ozempic song all the time, which is
what is the Ozempic song?
When he's like, oh, Ozempic.
It's
it's like to the tune of It's Magic. So, but I go, River, no potty words. And he goes, oh, Riley.
That feels honestly like something that I would do. Like, for sure. Like, you get those little brain worms of songs where you just cannot think of anything else. Like, I had not really a friend, but I knew somebody in college who was very, very wealthy. And at some point I was just like, why the fuck are you so rich? And it turns out his dad wrote that jingle. It's for like a diarrhea medication or something. And it goes, nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. That's the whole song.
And he made millions off this?
Millions. Like, this kid went to USC full price, no student loans.
Jesus Christ.
Isn't that insane?
That is insane. It's amazing how you can make money in this world. Like, just making like a song about diarrhea. That's what I want to do. Can I figure that out too? Can we somehow get somebody to pay us a lot of money? I could write a jingle.
I mean, my uncle's ex-wife, but they're very good friends still, is a singer, like a professional working singer. And she has made most of her money off pharmaceutical jingles, just singing these jingles, not writing them, but singing them.
Jesus, I got to get into this. I feel like people have the game figured out. I need to...
Stop podcasting and work for Big Pharma.
That's right. Well, I mean, I should say here at the top of this episode that this is a Thursday edition of Brad and Mira for the Culture. We are testing out 2 episodes a week. The early demand for this content has been overwhelming.
The people want content.
The people want content. So we're going to try to do 2 episodes a week. We'll see how it goes. Let us know what you think. As always, if you have any feedback, you can email the show, letters@otherppl.com, or DM Mira on Twitter and Instagram. And as always, be very polite, especially when contacting Mira.
I'm very sensitive, emotionally very sensitive, which kind of isn't true, but don't insult me or I'll probably block you.
There you go.
Today's episode is sponsored by Ozempic, and that diarrhea medication, and Xanax and the muscle relaxer I take when I throw my back out, etc.
Is Ozempic happening for younger people? I feel like Ozempic is big for like people my age, but is it big for people who are like in their early 30s or no?
Well, I don't know anybody on Ozempic, but I also don't know anybody who's like a millionaire. I think it like costs like $900 a month or something like that. Like, it costs just like such an insane amount of money that I think it's kind of like, I think people my age and demographic would use it, except that I just don't have any friends who are rich enough.
Wait, it costs $900 a month?
I mean, that's like, that's off the top of my head. I don't know if that's a real number, but it's like something like that. It's like I would say $500 to $900 a month, probably.
Jesus.
I mean, there's like there's like semaglutide and stuff like that. Semaglutide. There's like off-brand one, but I think they're all like $1 bajillion.
They work though.
I mean, look, if we have any Ozempic dealers listening, I'll lose 20 pounds. That sounds great to me.
Would you? But I feel like there could be side effects. I'm such a chicken about this stuff.
I mean, the thing about it is, like, I do think that I'm going to say this in the least problematic way that I can. Weight loss is healthy for a lot of people. You want to be at a healthy weight. And this has been a medication that's been used for a very long time for diabetics. So like the side effects are pretty well known. It's just been recently starting to be used for weight loss for regular non-diabetic people. And so I'm not too concerned about the side effects, just in that it's kind of been used for a long time and the side effects are sort of well known. But I mean, I don't know. The idea of like injecting myself with something does not seem very fun. Like, and I think the side effects mainly are just uncomfortable. Like, it's like nausea and shit, right? Like,
I don't know. I've heard all sorts of things. It's like, oh,
yeah.
it can ruin your body and your stomach can be all fucked up. I don't know.
I
I
read
just
that someone's genitals were like burned off from it, which just seemed totally fake to me. Like, I don't know how that's even possible. There's a lot of weird horror
wait,
stories out
what?
there. There was a story.
They burn their genitals off with Ozempic?
I read some story and it was like, you know, take it with a really big grain of salt. It was like page 6 or some shit like that. But this lady was saying that she took, I mean, in retrospect, this is clearly fake. She took Ozempic and then like her genitals like started like falling off, like started like she had a burning sensation and it was like they were like wounded or falling off or something like that, like pieces of skin. And I've only heard one report of that, so that seems super fake to me. But there's been a lot of stories about crazy side effects, but I wouldn't necessarily believe that particular one.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, see, the thing about these drugs for me is like if you're somebody who's diabetic or you have like some kind of weight problem where it's like medically necessary to take this stuff, I'm all for it. Like if and it's kind of a miracle drug because the weight really
Yeah.
does come off. I think that's awesome.
And I think there are normal people too who just struggle with, like, people who exercise more than I do, people who eat better than I do, who just struggle with losing that weight. And like, to me, I think that there's no shame in getting pharmaceutical help with that, you know? Like if it's like you really just like are unhealthy with like the extra 20 pounds and you cannot get rid of it,
I mean,
use that
okay,
for a
wait a
minute
minute
and
though. I'm
like,
going to pump the brakes. I'm going to pump the brakes. This is where I start to get pissed off is
I mean, if
that
you're like 30 pounds from being overweight and you've been like working for years trying to get that off, or 30 pounds overweight rather, and you've been working for years to try to get that off, the diets aren't working, the exercise isn't working, you're doing everything. I think the reason why we have medicine is to help people be healthier. And so, like, you can't also take Ozempic and do nothing and lose weight. You have to like still be in a calorie deficit and still exercise and shit like that.
but I
And
think like
so,
it's impossible to like be in a calorie excess because these drugs they curb your appetite.
right, which is
But
like, you know, the same as like a gastric, what do you call it, a
bypass.
bypass. It's like
Yeah.
basically a chemical gastric bypass, and we know gastric bypasses are healthy for very overweight people.
See, how I feel though is like if it's a cosmetic issue or it's just like 20 pounds that like that stubborn 20, like as somebody who has spent his entire adult life like working his ass off to be healthy, like exercising every day, eating like vegetables and shit.
You're genetically lucky. You don't realize that you've won the genetic lottery, not in terms, well, yes, in terms of just being like a white man, but like also in terms of like being able to like lose weight and be extremely healthy, like by doing all the things that you do. Because like I know people who are like also obsessed with like their health in a similar way and like do not like look as healthy as you do,
But
like who are
if
more
I didn't do
overweight.
this stuff, I would be overweight. I don't have like a body or a body type that like I just my metabolism is crazy and I could eat anything and be skinny. Like I've got to do work. It's not
But there are
automatic.
people who do that kind of work and don't get the weight loss or like the healthy body like you have. And I think that like that is a medical issue that isn't necessarily diabetic. It could be metabolic syndrome. It could be all of various different things that like, and I don't exactly know how Ozempic works, but I think that like there's really no shame in getting medical help for weight loss that is like for weight that's unhealthy to lose that, or even weight that just is like you gained it really quickly and that's unhealthy, you know, like you like are gaining like 20 pounds in a couple months or something. I think that could be really, really hard on the body. And I think that like medicine exists to make you healthier and to like help with things like that. And so like I do agree on some level with cosmetic changes where it's like, okay, if you're like a celebrity and you need to lose like 10 pounds, like just hire a nutritionist or whatever. You don't really need this shit. But
just, I mean, I want to see what these people
who
are
eating.
Really
struggling, like
but what are they eating? Like, that's what I mean. I don't mean to be a dick, but it's like, if you can't lose that 20 pounds, you're probably eating too much, or you're eating the wrong shit and you're not exercising, or you're exercising, but you're still eating too much. I just think, I mean, like, I think
canceled over this.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not talking about people who have like a true medical need. I'm talking about people who just like want to look good in a bathing suit and are like too lazy to fucking diet and exercise properly.
So what if they want to look good in a bathing suit and they are dieting and exercising properly, but they're not losing the weight to look good in the bathing suit?
Then in that case, I want to know what they're actually doing, because I think that there is a lot of...
They're actually doing everything that you do, but they're not losing the weight.
Then okay.
Then it's like, okay, get medical help.
And by the way, I'm not perfect either. I mean, I eat sweets. Like, I eat a lot. That's the thing too, is like I exercise because I have such a sweet tooth. Like I eat
like
a lot.
Almost don't believe you.
I do, but you know what I do? This is how crazy I am. Like I love chocolate. I love chocolate, but I get those like chocolate covered like banana chips.
Oh my God.
At Trader Joe's, and I get like chocolate covered almonds. So like even if I'm eating chocolate, it's like wrapped around like a good natural food.
So like when you say that you have a sweet tooth, what you're saying is that you sometimes eat chocolate covered almonds and then feel guilty about it.
Yes. Oh, I only eat like 3, like or 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like bananas, bananas, literally. But I'm
Brad, I have a medical diagnosis for you, which is that you're insane.
It's orthorexia, isn't it? Is that what it's called when you're like very like health conscious, like or overly?
It's called, I think, perhaps an eating disorder.
But see, I don't know if it is. I sort of bristle. I think I'm just taking it seriously.
Do you have like habits that you do with eating? Do you have recurring things where you're like, I have to eat this thing first and then this thing first, and like regimented meals in which you do that?
I mean, I eat the same stuff over and over again, but it's not because of some OCD thing. It's just because I'm limited in the kitchen and I know how to cook this stuff and I like it and it's quick.
And when you eat it, do you eat it in a like specific like ritual way?
Not like in a weird like OCD-ish. No, I mean like not like I have to have my lettuce. No, I don't.
Do you
don't have any.
The kale first, and then the lentils, and then the rice, or like something like that?
No, it's not that scientific. It's not that scientific. Like I'm actually pretty chill. Like I don't eat meat, and I don't eat dairy. But I'll eat it occasionally.
Okay.
But I kind of feel grossed out by eggs. I think eggs are a little gross. But I will eat almost anything else. Like, I'll eat anything you put in front of me. I'm not like super fixated, but I like for it to be like of the earth, like off of a tree or out of the ground. I like natural shit.
Like mushrooms, like psychedelic mushrooms.
That's right. But I've been eating lion's mane. That's my latest kick, where I saute lion's mane mushrooms and put them on like salads or, mix them with rice, just because they're supposed to be good for your brain.
What?
I mean, if you're out there listening and you're wondering why I seem so sharp cognitively, it's because I have been taking lion's mane on a regular basis.
He's lying. It is a very strong Adderall prescription. Can I confirm?
I do not. I've only taken Adderall once, and I think you gave it to me.
I sure did.
Yeah, and I went to the coffee shop to write, and I felt like I was on crack. I mean, I was just like, it's like I did cocaine, basically.
Could you focus more, or did it make you like just more harried?
I didn't get writing done. I just sort of sat there and like, I mean, I think I did write, like I put words to page, but like it wasn't any good. It wasn't for me. I don't like speedy things,
Yeah.
And it speeded me up, but I just wanted to see what all the fuss was about,
Did you like focus intently on anything? Do you find yourself like reading articles really intently, or like talking to people on text or anything like that?
I probably, yeah. I think I was oscillating between like my journal and like the internet, and I've probably steered toward the internet more. That's the thing about it. I was probably texting with you like, oh, I'm really fucked up.
You probably really don't have ADHD, because when people with really bad ADHD take it, like they'll just like be like, oh, this is what normal people feel like.
That's right. Like it can make those people like completely level out. So anyway, let's get to today's like pop culture, entertainment, stories of note that we're going to try to take apart and put back together again. Where are we in the culture?
Okay, let's talk our favorite guy. Not really our favorite guy, but he was really good in Grease, John Travolta.
You know, I just read this week, it like appeared in my timeline or something, that Grease was released like 45 years ago. That's how fucking old I am.
I mean,
like I'm older than Grease, but not by much. And I remember that movie when it was like new, like it seemed new and it was on TV and it was cool. And now it's 45 years old.
It's still kind of cool, honestly. I rewatched it recently and I was like, damn, Hopelessly Devoted is a great fucking song. Like,
it
that
really
is a classic. And
yeah.
she really belted it too. And Travolta, talented, great dancer, like incredibly good dancer. I was shocked. Like, and I mean, I don't know what he's like personally, but he is very charming on movies and television.
Saturday Night Fever is one of my all-time favorite movies. I think that movie
so good
is maybe his like best early work, and the dancing in that movie is just like out of control good. And
oh my god, incredible.
He's got real charisma. But what is happening with him now?
So John Travolta, as many of us know, but maybe some of our listeners are younger and do not know, Travolta has had for his entire career accusations of being gay. Now, he's also a Scientologist, so he's never come out about being gay. But we do know that he used to share hotel rooms with Tom Cruise pretty regularly.
Oh, wait, we know this? And wait, Scientology doesn't want you to be gay, is that right?
Or, yeah, and they'll use, like, you know, video or proof of your homosexuality, like, as blackmail against you, which now might be less effective, but when they started doing that against Travolta, it was probably very effective.
Well, see, this is the thing. We were just talking about Kevin Spacey in the last episode, and I don't mean to conflate Kevin Spacey and John Travolta, because I don't think John Travolta is the abuser that Kevin Spacey is. But when it comes to Hollywood and like acting and trying to maintain a career as some sort of leading man, I think it really is true that if you come out, it can hinder your ability to get certain parts as a man. And so, like, professionally, I would understand if John Travolta is gay or if Tom Cruise is bisexual or whatever. Though I don't think Tom Cruise is gay. I have heard all sorts of stuff. Is he? No.
I don't think Tom Cruise is gay. Are you insane?
I don't know. I don't care.
He's the homosexual. Yeah, for 100%. Yes, he absolutely is. He is gay. And I would also point back to our Taylor Swift conversation, in which you asked, like, why wouldn't Taylor Swift just come out of the closet if she's gay? And I would point to all the reasons that you just said about John Travolta. I think that's, like, very apt.
Yeah, I just think that I understand it professionally. I wish, like, on a human level that it weren't necessary and that people could just be who they are. But, like, I sort of get it. If you want to be an actor and make a go of it as, like, a leading man, it's just too much
sex appeal to, like, you know, a heteronormative world. It's like, if you want to be a leading man, you've got to be, like, you know, straight, and you've got to be into the girl. And if you want to be a pop star, you kind of have to have sex appeal to men, maybe, and women, but, like, men need to find you sexy, and that's hard if you're like, I only like pussy.
Right. Well,
sorry if Dean Morgan's kids are listening. I apologize.
All these parents in their cars with their kids just suddenly turning the volume down, stuck jamming the earbuds into their ears. So Travolta, who is he out? I mean, he's married to Kelly Preston, or the late Kelly Preston, right? So
yeah,
she died.
He was. I think he was married maybe to somebody else too, but, like, gay for sure. A story came out this week that John Travolta was at. Do you remember what gym it was? It was like,
it's probably Equinox, right? He's not going. He's not going to Bally's Total Fitness. Like,
yeah, but it was a 24-hour gym, which, for those of you who are not familiar with the culture of cruising amongst gay men, it can be defined as going somewhere late at night and cruising to find somebody to have sex with. And, you know, basically. And John Travolta, well, one place that people do this a lot is in a gym, especially a 24-hour gym. They have showers and, you know, no one's there at 3 a.m. usually.
Wait, so they're going to have sex in the gym?
Oh, yeah, in the showers.
Ugh. This is why people, like, I've been to the gym. I don't have a gym membership currently. I don't know if I ever will again, but the people in the gym who like use the bathroom aggressively in the gym.
Use the bathroom aggressively.
I mean, they're like showering and shaving and pooping, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, get out of. What's that?
It's old people. Old people are just like, I don't care who sees my dick. I'm just fucking naked in this place. Like, I'm old. It doesn't matter.
I'm not doing any of that. I'm in there to like pee, maybe. I'm washing my hands aggressively and I'm out. And I'm not like, I cannot imagine. I'm too grossed out. I'm easily grossed out.
I like that you described two different activities in the male locker room as aggressively. Like, you wash your hands aggressively and the old men go to the bathroom aggressively.
That's the only thing I'm doing aggressively is washing my hands, like disinfecting them and getting them out of there. But just these guys who make themselves at home, I don't get it.
I mean, well, some of them are just insane, but if you're there very late at night, some of them are probably also using the facilities for something that they're not necessarily intended for.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. You're in the showers and you're like, what happened in here?
Same at like truck stops. They have showers at truck stops. Like, yeah, it's for people to shower like when they're trucking, but it's for people to get their dick sucked.
That's just,
you know,
I'm not at truck stop shower facilities ever. So I can remove that from my realm of interactivity.
On like book tours, you know, driving through the Midwest, sometimes you really got to pee and you stop somewhere and you're just like, oh, this is like a trucker truck stop and they do not want like young female me to be here at all. Like, really just aggressively unwelcoming vibes.
Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. Is gay culture really rampant among truckers? I guess so.
I mean, I think it's like rampant among truckers in that like they're trucking and only other men really do that job. And so if they're gonna get their dick sucked at all while they're, you know, on the road like 24 hours a day for weeks or whatever, it will be by a dude.
But I want to say, what was that? I'm going to blank on this again. What was the author who pretended to be a young gay hustler, but it was really a woman who was writing all the books?
Oh,
it's like Laura Albert. Laura Albert was the woman, but I forget what the pseudonymous like young gay hustler was.
JD. Oh my God.
Salinger?
Yeah, it was JD Salinger.
Whatever. I can't remember anything, but my lion's mane mushrooms are failing me. But if I think that whole mythology that was constructed was that he was a truck stop hustler, and that there are, I think, prostitutes, female prostitutes too, who might work in those.
Yeah, totally. But they're like less successful because you have to pay for them. You know, if you just find another person who wants to suck your dick, that's free.
I mean, in a truck stop bathroom. Yeah. Good God.
So, I mean, the places that, you know, gay men are forced to, some of them are still there. It's like, you're in the closet. There's only so many places you can go, which leads us to this Travolta story to bring it all back, where he was in a gym, I assume Equinox, 3 a.m. The reason why we know this is because somebody posted a photo with John Travolta saying, ran into John Travolta at the gym at 3 a.m. Isn't that so random and weird? And I saw this and I immediately thought, oh, nobody knows what cruising is anymore, because he's not there to work out. He's not going to a public gym at 3 a.m. to work out. He's going there to cruise.
But Travolta is known. Somehow I know this. He's a nocturnal person. He does all of his shit at night.
Yeah.
So maybe he was working out, but you think he was trying to get some ass at 3 a.m. at the gym?
I mean, I think that if you're John Travolta and you want to work out, you go into your basement where you have a whole gym. You don't go to a gym at 3 a.m.
Yeah. And plus he's a celebrity in public. Like, why? What are you doing?
Wouldn't ever go to a public gym. Like, that's just like not something John Travolta would do. He can have a gym in his house. There's no point. Or he can have a private gym, like with the trainer.
How old is he? If Grease is 45 years old.
Good question.
John Travolta was probably 20 something when that came out.
You want to make a guess as I look it up?
He's like 70 years old. How is he still? Does he
70.
really still
on the money? 70.
Yeah. So does he even care? Like at
About
some going out and getting laid at a gym at 70 years old, people still do that?
yeah, dude. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
old ass dudes are some of like the horniest nightmare people on earth. I don't know if it's because they have Viagra or because they're just like that or what, but
Or
like,
they're just in the twilight. They're like, I'm going out swinging.
I mean, men stay like this for their entire lives. And I mean, like, if they're nice men, more power to them.
Not all men. I think there's a
No.
natural decline in libido that happens over most people's lives as they age. Like, I'm not talking like you totally lose it, but going out to a gym at 3 a.m. to try to get laid seems like the kind of thing you do in your 30s or your 20s, not when you're 70.
Or when you're 70 and a little lonely,
Maybe.
you know?
Maybe.
I mean, I think like when you don't have a partner, it's like you're feeling a little lonely. How are you going to have somebody in your bed?
I mean,
You know?
couldn't he hire somebody? I don't know. I feel,
I
and
mean,
plus
he could hire somebody and maybe he did, it's possible, but I think there's an excitement to swinging where you don't know who you're going to get and you have to kind of chase them and you kind of have to like find them and like understand the signals that they're also cruising. It's an activity. Like
this makes me, I cannot imagine being like, this is a gay male culture thing where you go out and you cruise and you just have like random sex with random strangers.
we
That would
should
make
have
me,
an episode where you watch the movie Cruising and we talk about it.
yeah. I mean, it makes me anxious to think about just on a personal level. Be like, who are these people? Like, where have they been?
What's his face? The singer, Michael fucking, oh my God, I'm so brain dead. The famous singer who died, Michael, he's gay. Oh my fucking God. Michael, everyone's
What
going to kill me for this. He's a
what
gay
band was he in?
singer who died. I can't fucking remember what band he was in. He did that music video with like golden urinals and he was like, Adele did a tribute to him. Tyler. Oh fuck, he has headphones on. He would know. Michael.
Michael Hutchins?
He's saying father figure.
Oh, George Michael.
George Michael. Thank you. George
Yeah,
Michael.
he would cruise. He got
cruised.
arrested, I want to say, cruising in a park at one
He
point.
did. He got arrested cruising in a park, and then he did a music video where he was like cruising in a fancy park that had gold urinals in the bathrooms, which was really, really funny.
I saw George Michael in concert in Las Vegas. It was one of the best concerts I ever saw. I loved it.
Seemed like a really great performer and like a nice guy.
Yeah, I think he was, I mean, that voice.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of guys who can sing like that. He was good. And he seemed like a fun sweetheart, it's kind of sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah, he seemed nice. He seemed like a good guy. All right, shall we move on to our next topic?
Yeah, I mean, did Travolta score? He did, but I mean, like, what happened at the gym? He just got his photo taken?
Idea. We have no idea. I mean, he was at least, whether or not he fucked this guy, he was nice enough to take a photo with him, which I think says something nice about Travolta. He was like cruising and kind of in like a sketchy situation, but he was still like, yeah, you want a photo? That's fine.
Or they hooked up and he's like, well, like the least I can do is let you have like your Instagram moment or whatever.
Which a lot of people wouldn't do,
And I feel like John Travolta seems like a nice guy. I got to say, like, I don't get like a hard edge.
We've never heard any complaints about him either. No one's ever been like Travolta was mean or gross or anything.
Yeah, he seems like a sweet guy.
Yeah. So our next topic involves one of my least favorite people, Justin Timberlake.
One of your least favorite people?
I mean, he's not like top 3, but like he sucks. He sucks. He just fucking sucks, man.
I saw him in concert too with my wife. She took me to Staples Center, when it was then known as the Staples Center. So this was when I think he was at his peak.
Was it just Justin or was it NSYNC?
No, it was Justin. It was Justin when that Sexy Back was happening. That tour.
His peak. That was when like solo Justin Timberlake was like really at the top.
Yeah, and he had the suit and the sneakers and the dancing and the whole thing, and it was
he's a good dancer.
He is, and a talented musician. He's got the voice. He can play instruments. He can dance. I mean, he's a very musically gifted dude. But then I feel like, what is it? The Britney Spears memoir essentially exposed some of his bad behavior as a boyfriend. What caused what caused you think his like PR downfall, and why do you have like a bad taste in your mouth with this guy?
So, I mean, there's the Janet Jackson thing where he tore off her costume and revealed her tit, and like it was revealed semi recently that that really wasn't like a genuine mistake or planned. What was supposed to happen was that he was supposed to take off the first layer of her costume, which would then reveal like a pointy bra type situation, like another costume basically underneath the costume that he tore off. Instead, he tore off the entire thing.
But
And
was that
like
was that an accident?
they had done rehearsals over and over again to make sure that and they had redone the costume. They had resewn the costume to make sure that he didn't tear off the whole costume and like make sure that it would be easy for him to not tear off the whole costume. And it would take significant effort to tear off the fabric of the costume, which he did.
So
it's hard to, you can't say definitively that it was on purpose, but like it was clear where he had to grab to pull it off, and he tore fabric instead, which seems not intentional.
How does Janet Jackson feel about all this?
Pissed. She's like, that was fucked up. I can't believe you did that.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I don't want her to feel bad or feel like she got exposed, but
sorry, Janet Jackson.
Yeah, I generally think it is good that her boob got exposed to like 150 million people on Super Bowl Sunday. America is a prude, sexually repressed, and like backwards culture when it comes to the body. And
I couldn't agree more.
There's no like boobs shit. Like we can't, like women aren't legally allowed to even be topless on a beach, but guys can be. Like, I think this is ridiculous. And it doesn't mean everybody's got to do it. If you want to cover yourself. But if you don't, who cares? It's just a boob.
Like Janet Jackson obviously, didn't want her boob on television, so it shouldn't have been. But if she did want her boob on television, I'd be like, fuck yeah, show both boobs, show it all. Like that's like fucking, that's what we should be doing. Like people, it's like we can have like the most violent, the most realistic violence on television that could like easily traumatize a child for life, but like God forbid they see a titty. Like, no, what are they gonna do? Like,
and at the Super Bowl, I mean, that's what I think is so great. It's like the Super Bowl. It's like this, like, American cultural experience on steroids that like is so hyper masculine and corporate and all of the, all of it. It's like hyper capitalist. It's like a simulated war. It's everything that America is sort of known for.
I mean, I want to see like a full stripper routine and like the fucking, like that would be fucking dope if like a pop star came out and was just like, top off, let's go. I'd be like, hell yeah, girl, fucking get it.
Just any kind of subversive act happening on Super Bowl Sunday at the Super Bowl is to me, I think, probably psychologically healthy for the country. And if, again, apologies to Janet Jackson, but maybe she kind of sort of took one for the team there. And even though it was personally uncomfortable, it was good it was like for the greater good, it helped.
Consent is important, but I did like seeing her tit. I'm not going to lie.
See, but this is the way I guess you have to talk like this very carefully. Like,
well, because like if she had consensually shown her tit, I would have just said like, I like seeing her tit. Like when Lil Kim came to the Grammys and her whole tit was out because she realized that television, like the rules are just that you can't show nipple or areola. So she covered her nipple and she had this outfit where her entire tit was out on one side. And like, hell yeah. Like that owns. Like that is like what paved the way for Rihanna to have that beautiful Tom Ford dress where Tom Ford said, I can't make anything more beautiful than Rihanna's body. And so he just draped her in like Swarovski crystals, but like in like a fishnet pattern. So it was totally see-through and you could just see her whole titties. And she looked fucking amazing.
And she wanted to wear it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So Timberlake, what happened with him?
So he got pulled over for a DUI in the Hamptons. Now, I'm not totally sure exactly what he was doing. There's a video of him, whatever he was doing that got him the DUI. But the funniest part to me is that the police officer who pulled him over, Justin Timberlake, of course, was like, I'm Justin Timberlake. And the cop...
Wait, he pulled that card? Yeah, don't you know who I am?
Of course. They always do. That's like, because it works with cops oftentimes. They're like, can I get a picture for my kid or whatever the fuck, Like I would pull that card. But so he pulled that card and the cop was too young to know what NSYNC or Justin Timberlake was, didn't recognize him.
Jesus. Well,
which is probably why he got the DUI in the first place.
I think that this is where I sort of feel bad for Justin Timberlake and performers like him, is that for a pop star, aging is difficult. And I know we have all sorts of examples. It's usually in rock and roll where these, the Rolling Stones are still playing concerts and dancing around in their 80s. But
notice with women rock stars, they just disappear. They're just like, we're done. Stevie Nicks is kind of the only one doing it.
Yeah. I mean, like what happened to Heart? Maybe but they.
Blondie.
Yeah. I think Blonde. I mean, they still play, but it's not maybe as high profile. And
they do like special shows.
Yeah. And I feel like for Justin Timberlake, for a certain kind of male performer whose songs are dance songs, pop dance songs, and whose stage identity is so bound to being able to dance and move and kind of embody youth. It's hard to maybe get into your 40s and be a dad and know exactly where you fit in the culture, right? I mean, I just feel like he's sort of like, he's a little
all pop stars or celebrities or people who got their fame by being really attractive at a young age. The Helen Mirrens or the I don't know, fucking other old actors of the world. Like if they kind of got most of their fame when they were older, you don't have that issue. But when people get their fame when they're like at their youngest, at their hottest, at their most athletic, then when they start to age, everyone's like, what the fuck happened to them?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's tough. I feel there are certain people who just age so well, like Paul Newman. Remember? I mean, like, I don't know if that's an old, but
I don't know what he looks like now.
Well, he's dead, but he aged. He doesn't look good, I can tell you that. But he aged backwards. It seemed like from like age 20 until he was like 70, and then when he was 70 to 80 or whatever, he looked like an old man, but still like a handsome old man. And but he wasn't trying to dance around, and he was playing age appropriate parts. It's like, depending on what you do in the culture, like I think there are musicians like bluesmen, like guys who play, like Willie Nelson, obviously he can look like he's, death warmed over, but it doesn't matter. He's got his pigtails and his head, his bandana, and it's fine. But if you're trying to be the guy on stage who's like doing the moonwalk or whatever, it's,
and it's hard to rebrand from that too, I think, where like Justin Timberlake has been a pop star his whole life. If he was like, okay, now I'm writing ballads and I'm doing, John Mayer style, like guitar and me on stage kind of thing, it wouldn't work. He doesn't know how to play guitar. He's never done anything like that. It would be weird.
It would be weird. Yeah.
I think the only turn he could really reasonably make would be into like Christian music. Like he could maybe be like a Christian, like fucking like, mega church playing guy.
Ugh, don't do that.
I mean, I hope not, but
have
whatever. Oh, he's also an anti-vaxxer. That's part of why I hate him.
Oh boy. And he, what did he blow? Like, what was his DUI? What was his blood alcohol content?
I didn't catch it, but I can probably look it up. I don't think that they actually said what his blood alcohol content was. And I don't think that they said he was, like, what influence he was under. I don't think they said if it was alcohol or drugs or anything like that. They just said it was
alcohol. They can't test you for anything else, can they?
No, they can't. Well, I mean, they could test your blood if you allow that, but that's like, they need a warrant and shit like that. But they can, see. And like, if they're dumb enough, the celebrity could admit it. Like, people do get charged with driving under the influence of, because like if he had hurt somebody, then they could get a warrant and test his blood for drugs. But
he doesn't seem like a guy who gets fucked up a lot. He seems pretty health conscious.
The most psycho weirdos, I think, are sober. That's a theory that I have. Trump, sober, fucking...
Trump is not sober. Trump is snorting Adderall and whatever else.
Okay, he's sober besides Adderall. Like, he doesn't drink. That's, I guess, what I mean, is that I think that, like, the most evil, weird people don't drink or do drugs to the point of not being in control. Epstein never touched the stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, like, it's good to have at least a phase where you go a little wild. But I think that a lot of times people who want to be in like control and want to, I mean, Epstein was what he was getting like compromise on people. So he would stay sober and get other people fucked up. And then,
and I mean, like most psychos function on like, you know, them having more control than the other person. So it makes sense that they would never want to be out of control on drugs or anything like that.
Well, so this is good. This actually tips the scales in Justin Timberlake's favor because he's not sober. He's fucked up and getting a DUI.
I mean, true. Maybe he's or maybe he's just at like an all-time low in his life and he's like kind of hitting rock bottom and just started, you know, hitting the bottom.
But Justin Timberlake, is he experiencing mental duress of any kind? Do we have any, like, is there something going on in his life or his career that we could be feeding this?
I mean, there's like the Britney book that came out, which like pretty much made everybody hate him. And then there's the fact that he clearly started like a PR campaign before Britney's book came out to try to counteract it, in which he got NSYNC back together, and NSYNC toured, maybe is still touring, I'm not totally sure, and that didn't do shit, and now he's just basically stuck touring with NSYNC, which he obviously doesn't want to do.
Wait, what did Britney say about him? Just that he was a shitty boyfriend? Or
he was a shitty boyfriend, he cheated on her a lot, he like kind of like inhibited her career like pretty significantly in a way I don't totally remember. But he like told her not to do something, and then like he did it and like it took it from her. And then he like made that Cry Me a River music video where he had like a Britney Spears lookalike and just like made her seem like a cheating, horrible bitch, when in reality, he was the one who cheated on her like repeatedly. And I'm not remembering the details, but it was like, he didn't do anything like where he should be arrested, but he was like a very, very shitty boyfriend.
Just kind of slimeball behavior.
Yeah, but she cheated on him with Ben Affleck, which is pretty funny.
She did?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Britney Spears hooked up with Ben Affleck.
Neither did anybody until she came out with this book.
Oh, she describes it in the book?
Yeah. She was like, Justin did all the shitty stuff to me, and so at the end of the relationship, I fucked Ben Affleck.
Wow. That was the closing move.
Yeah, I was kind of like, hell yeah, Britney, fucking get it.
What does a conversation between Ben Affleck and Britney Spears sound like? Like, what do they talk about?
I think it's like, do you want to have sex? Yeah.
I feel like Britney Spears is not well. I've seen these videos of her with the knives, and I'm just like, what's going on? These weird dance videos that she makes where she just looks like she's been crying. She's like playing with knives.
She's unwell, but if you look at other videos of her just in the past, even when she was really young, she was just as unwell. It's just that she was like more made up. She had nice hair. Her teeth didn't have a gap in them. She was very young and stuff. So you kind of don't really notice the wackiness. And it's like probably increased over the years, but like it's always kind of been there.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel for her. Like, I think you watch these videos and you're like, oh, like somebody protect this poor kid.
And her whole family is so evil, like just so fucking greedy and horrible. Like, oh, poor girl.
Yeah. She,
I'm glad she's free and can just make weird dancing videos at home, even if she looks insane. Like, you just have fun. Just like have a nice life.
Yeah. Like she got out of that conservatorship, but like, I do like just to be like to be a devil's advocate or whatever, and to counterpoint this, I do sort of roll my eyes every time anything Britney related happens on social media. Everyone's
you roll your eyes at most things that happen on social media.
Yeah, well, just because it's like, oh, Britney, like Britney's the victim, and Britney, and it's like, well, okay, but there's also
what?
I mean, she's also unhinged. She's also unhinged, Like,
let's also. I think a lot of people don't understand that, like, though she's out of a conservatorship, she still has like a team of people who are like managing her finances and making sure that she's not making crazy financial decisions.
Good.
Like that's like, and yeah, I mean, good. I think that's like the courts decided like you don't need to be in a conservatorship, but we're hiring some people, outside people not in your family, like lawyers, to like just make sure that she's all good financially. Yeah. And like,
because if she didn't have that, I could easily, and she's not well mentally, you could get taken advantage of, or you can just make really crazy decisions with money, and she could end up like losing all that money that she's made. So Anyway, I don't know. Like, I feel like Justin Timberlake is at this kind of weird pivot in his life and career. And then he's got all this like bad PR and he's got to just
retire. Just retire and take your money and have like spend time with your kids and your wife and just like have a nice time. Do little things like
he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it.
He's not.
These people are that you have to be like, once you're famous like that and you're wired up for that, like you just got to go back and try to.
He doesn't know anything else.
That's right. And I think too, like he's a musician. I think he genuinely is like a gifted musician, and that's what he loves to do and knows how to do. I can't tell somebody like that to just shut it off and just not make music anymore. But I don't know.
I mean, he can make music, you know, like he can still make music. But the thing about him is that he's not a musician. He's a performer. He's great at singing. He's great at dancing. He's like incredible at both of those things, but he doesn't write songs.
And he's getting older. You don't look as cool dancing in your mid 40s as you do when you're 25. I'm sorry.
Yeah, unless you're James Brown. That's the exception to the rule.
I mean, yeah, like it is weird how the culture gives permission to certain people like a Willie Nelson or a James Brown, where it's like, I don't care what age you are. Like you can get out there and do your thing and like we're going to embrace.
It's like, it's icon status is what it is. Like, it's like Dolly Parton once, or even the Rolling Stones. You reach icon status and it's like, no matter how old you are, I want to see Dolly Parton sing Jolene. I don't give a fuck.
I do too. I don't want to see Mick Jagger dancing around in his 80s.
Yeah, I kind of don't either. That's a little gross, but that's, you know, he should do him and have fun. I'm glad that he's having a nice time.
Yeah, I mean, I think like, honestly think it's like, and you know, the songs are great. He sings well still. He took care of his voice, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so I don't begrudge anybody who goes to a Rolling Stones concert. I think at this point, it's like the icon thing. They're just like the iconic rock and roll band, right? I mean, there's nobody bigger than the Rolling Stones. There's just something like sort of accepted about how goofy it is that Mick Jagger, A, is still doing this, but B, like that he still can do this like at 80.
It's almost kind of campy or something. It's almost like you go there to like see old version of Mick Jagger. We all know what the dance moves are. We all know like what he looked like as a young man and that he did these dance moves as a young man. So you like go see like the elderly version and it's like kind of interesting for that reason or whatever.
I mean, it's a little goofy.
I mean, I wouldn't.
It's a little goofy for an 80-something-year-old man to be like gyrating.
I think he might know that it's good. I mean, even if he doesn't know that it's goofy, I think that is some of the appeal.
And he doesn't know how to do anything else. Like and I guess like if you're at that station where you're getting paid millions of dollars to walk into an arena and be cheered like you're God for 2 hours. Nobody wants to give that up. I understand it.
If that's what you've done your whole life and that's how you sort of find meaning, is like people cheering you on while you're performing and you can still do that. Like literally Willie Nelson is like on death's door and he is choosing to like do shit like Farm Aid and perform because he loves it.
It's all, I mean, the Rolling Stones got together, I think, when they were teenagers. That's how long this has been happening for them. They don't know anything else.
They're also just like a rock band that is one of the few that has stayed together, you know, and that hasn't had like serious issues. Like there's, you know, Pink Floyd, but like Roger Waters won't fucking talk to any of those motherfuckers. We only get Roger Waters. But the Rolling Stones somehow are just like, we're all friends. It's fine.
You too. Yeah, they're like, these bands, like these long... It's like a long marriage, you know, they've stayed together, even though like Mick and Keith will talk like horrible shit about one another, which I love. They're like an old married couple that is like still together, but they can just say anything and, you know.
Yeah, they're that comfortable with each other or something. It's like not a problem.
They're like brothers, you know, so it's more power to them. Justin Timberlake, he got a DUI. I'm not going to condemn him. Shit happens. People make stupid decisions, but hopefully he doesn't have some sort of like, you know, subterranean substance abuse problem that is now coming to the surface.
Yeah, I don't want him to have a substance abuse problem. That's definitely true. I don't love him, but whatever. I don't feel super strongly about him either.
All right, Mira. I think we're coming up on almost 2 hours. Look at us talking about culture. We covered a lot of ground today. I feel good about it. I feel like we did our job.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right. So if you want to email us, remember we accept feedback from listeners. You can email the show letters@otherppl.com or DM us on Twitter or Instagram. And we'll be back next week. We're going to be doing, I think, 2 shows a week. We're going to test it out, see how it goes, see what the numbers are, see what the feedback is. So Tuesdays and Thursdays for the foreseeable future. and we will talk to you again soon.
See ya.